This movie's a chance to understand Chewie as a unique individual who chooses Han Solo as Han chooses Chewie.
Never in my mind was Chewie subservient to Han. It's always been a partnership. And Han is really Chewie's sidekick as much as Chewie is Han's.
We couldn't have done this maybe like one at a time?
When I first started shooting, they told me it was a love story between two people who don't yet know they're gonna end up with each other. And of course, we're talking about Han and Chewie.
Their relationship is really fun to watch. They have a kind of unspoken closeness. And Jonas was so good at playing Chewie. There's such a craft of how to move, how to communicate, how to perform in the suit. And he has such a mastery over how to do that with Chewie. It was really impressive.
Yeah, whatever.
What I love about the Han Solo-Chewbacca relationship in this movie is that later in life, they have such a great shorthand. That, you know, they barely have to communicate. Here, they don't really understand each other very much at all.
He speaks Shriwook, or Shriwook? Shriwook? Okay, well, whatever. There's an interesting process where Chewbacca says kind of the lines and then you hear it and respond to it.
We had written into the first draft of the script every one of Chewie's lines.
No, I'm telling you, it's gonna be great.
We wanted Alden to know what was being said to him, so he would know what to play, regardless of what he interpreted from the moan.
So what's your name anyway? All right, well, you're gonna need a nickname, because I ain't saying that every time.
He's introduced as a man-eating beast with this massive roar. Of course, has to sound like Chewbacca, but that doesn't exist. The main recording of Chewbacca is a bear that Ben Burtt, the original sound designer, recorded many, many years ago. But because the original bear only made so many sounds, Chewbacca's vocabulary has always been a little bit limited. So we spent an afternoon recording this massive grizzly bear who was just hungry all the time. And if you would simply show him food, he got very excited. And if you didn't give him the food right away, he would let you know. So we were able to get a really quite extensive palette of new bear vocals. And we also recorded quite a few other animals. Deep guttural pieces that were used occasionally in the giant roar for Chewbacca. That were not in the exact range as Chewbacca, but with a little bit of manipulation, I was able to create a new set of Chewbacca sounds.
Hey, okay, take it easy. On the same side.
We really wanted to give you the opposite of what you expect, and there was no purer example than how Han and Chewie met. It's almost like an old-fashioned romantic comedy. Of course, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn are gonna start the movie not in love. They're gonna start the movie at each other's throats.
So we're just framing up and getting everything past at the same time. Stay out the frame. All right, there we go.
The idea of throwing mud all over a Chewbacca suit was somewhat daunting for all of us because the time and energy that goes into creating a Wookiee suit is immense.
Team Chewie is basically the wonderful people who take care of Chewie. We got Maria, Fiona, Becky. They made 4 new Wookiee suits for this film with individual hairs knotted into the suit. So it's a very long task. It takes hours to style the suit. You need to constantly be making sure that the hair underneath the bandolier won't get flattened out. It's a lot of effort. The most challenging was definitely the mud pit.
We've never done anything like this with Chewbacca before. He's always been clean, dry. We did some tests with some different types of mud. We bought some Dead Sea mud packs in and started playing around with the suits and just putting some of that in and putting some dreadlocks in, and it was just caked. And the whole thing weighed probably 6-7 times what it normally would as a dry Chewbacca suit.
Chewie's legs would be covered in this thick mud. So we had to go to the Wookiee wash to get off that mud. Having something that heavy and having to be in weird positions, that was difficult. I was so happy when we got through that scene.
In this film, I wanted to see the strength of the Wookiee, what he would do if he's like in full-on display of his power.
We discover he's a pretty handy beast.
My sports background has definitely helped me to do this very physical thing of playing Chewie. We started 2 or 3 months before doing stunt training. I really loved learning how to do the roles and different choreographies. It was like intense workouts. I mean, I was pretty buff back then.
It's like strong as what? And then we start thinking strong as an ox, you know, strong as a bear. And then we took it from those parameters and developed the action or move that later on when you see it, it's like, whoa, you don't want to mess with them.
What I really appreciate about Chewbacca is that he really does have a philosophy. He's tough, he can be vicious, but clearly there's a moral code. And you begin to see that there's a nobility that Chewbacca represents that Han has to deal with
Chewie!
and often side with.
Here, you might need this.
Look out, the back.
Everything about this job is such a treat. We're in the most privileged position to be able to work in Star Wars films. I can't wait to come back to work the next day. I'm back for more. See you tomorrow.